Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Report, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
All right, I'm Carol Massar along with Tim Stanovic. Let's get to some stocks on the move on this Monday. With us is Bloomberg News cross-asset reporter Isabel Lee. Good to have you here with us. An interesting day, and there are definitely some movers.
Some movers. I want to start with Berkshire Hathaway because I think this would have been the big news if we didn't see the big geopolitical crisis that happened over the weekend. But usually
it really got buried.
Yes. And usually this is a big thing and it happens
Right.
over the weekend and you log in on Monday and you're excited. Well, the stock is now down 4%, leading the losses among a gauge of financial stocks. So the company's operating profits fell nearly 30% in Warren Buffett's last quarter as CEO. So that's really a big move. Analysts note the weakness in the company's insurance business. So again, when I look at Berkshire Hathaway, it's not like I cover it closely, but I look at it enough.
Yeah.
And it's such a cultural thing, you know. And then the CEO, Greg Abel, he promised to keep Buffett's guiding principles. He started his letter saying that Buffett is a hard act to follow. So I thought that was a nice nod because it's almost synonymous with a company. You just really can't ignore it. I feel like almost everyone knows Warren Buffett, Greg Abel, maybe just a few small circles, but then hopefully he will grow in prominence. But Bloomberg Intelligence said that the capital generation of Berkshire should remain strong given inelastic demand, although they acknowledge headwinds will exist. Vital Knowledge did acknowledge the large drop in the fourth quarter operating income and said that, yeah, maybe that's why we're seeing investors a little jittery.
But a reminder that Greg Abel has been there for a
Yes,
while.
that's exactly right, yes.
And so, certainly as Warren Buffett started to think about, his succession and what happens next, people who were brought into the company or part of the company there for a while, right? To understand the culture,
he's a new
ethos
face
in terms of investing.
Yes, he's a new face to the public, but not the company.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
he will also lead a company for 6 decades like Warren Buffett.
But you're right, unusual day where that would have been kind of front and center.
A-class shares, $725,000.
Yeah. Wow.
But B-class is what we
Yeah.
look at. But
It's a bit more affordable.
yeah, B-class shares are, they're, let's see.
More affordable.
More
I think,
affordable.
yes.
There we go.
For
Thank
my
you.
level.
Okay. There
All
we
right,
go.
let's talk about certainly U.S. and Israel attacks on Iran, definitely in fact impacting a lot of different sectors. We've talked a little bit about the energy sector as a whole here at Bloomberg, but anything to do with travel can be very interesting too.
Yes, but it's tricky. So Norwegian Cruise shares, they're down by 10%. The company announced that adjusted EPS forecast is not meeting estimates. They also said that their full-year net yields are expected to be little changed. What in the world is full-year net yields? They're a key industry measure of revenue per available passenger cruise day. So this is seen as stagnating as less and less people reserve in advance. Oh, sorry, few people. I mix up those two words. As fewer customers.
It's like the English teachers calling. I know that feeling.
But here's the thing. We have Stifel saying shares are pressured, but we think that it's more tied to Iran and fuel implications. But we have Barclays saying that neither Norwegian nor peers have real direct exposure to the Middle East. However, geopolitical events like these do have a tendency, of course, to impact travel. And so I think it's just a mixed day for them, a lot pulling them in every direction.
And these things are not powered by air,
Yes.
They use fuel, and if that goes up in cost, that can be a significant cost driver for these companies.
Absolutely.
They also are dealing with an activist investor.
Yes, Elliott. So remember, Elliott disclosed a stake of more than 10%. They
Yeah.
criticized management decisions and spending. I mean, the broader cruise industry has benefited overall from resilient travel demand. Although I always say this, I've never been on a cruise. You go on cruises, right?
No, you're thinking of Charlie Pellet.
Oh, okay.
I've never been on a cruise. Carnival is down 7.7% also, though.
Yes.
Do we have time for another? We have time for another, right?
Yeah, let's do it quickly. 30 seconds.
Venture Global jumping 17%. This is more related to what's happening today because the company is benefiting from a surge in gas prices. The latest conflict led Qatar to shut down production at the world's largest LNG export facility. So you see shares there jumping
Like 15%
now. Pared back some of those gains, but double digits.
Yeah, it's an interesting market day, to say the least, for a lot of different reasons. But, and what a kind of interesting basket of stocks, right?
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.